Welcome to the show your parents, the PTA and the asleep don't want you to hear. The Helios blog. Today, this girl says you should be able to do whatever you want. Okay. Should be great.
The reason she's alone is because she's difficult.
Women are not accepting the bare minimum.
Women fuck men they respect.
All the women who say things like, I'm strong, independent, I don't need no man, like, y'all impress me.
Women just gaslight each other and say what they want to hear.
Point of those traffic laws is you don't know if you're going to harm someone, because if the light's red, you don't necessarily know if someone's coming around the bend. That's why it's red.
This particular one, You're in a 2-stoplight town, man, and you know there ain't nobody on the road. You know 100% there's nobody there. Yeah. And within the confines of the hypothetical, is he justified in pulling you over?
Of course.
Of course. So if he's justified in pulling you over, then no, this idea of I can do what I want as long as I hurt nobody else.
But the thing is, by obtaining a driver's license, I agreed to those rules of society.
Wait, you need a driver's license? I thought you could do whatever you want unless it's hurting someone else. Why can't you drive without a driver's license? You're not hurting anybody.
You are.
Well, again, hurt is actually a broad term. Hurt in what sense? Because you do put people at risk if you don't know how to drive. So you can't just drive a car without a license, right? You need, you see?
Because in order to get a license, you need to learn to drive.
Why can't you learn to drive without a license?
An education.
I'm sorry, you can't learn to drive without a license?
I think the whole point is
No, hang on. Let me finish the argument with her.
No, you keep cutting me off. Like the point
She cut you off.
Actually, she's furthering my point, and I really appreciate what she said. You're cutting me off. Anyway.
He was trying to let you finish, just for clarity.
I was trying to let you finish. She cut you off. You blame me.
Go ahead.
I appreciate Liz's interjection.
I don't appreciate her interjection, but anyway, go ahead.
So my point is that if you just get behind the wheel of a car and you've never driven one before, it's likely you're going to crash it. So anyone should have the right to drive as long as they learn to drive. Anyone should probably have the right to own a gun as long as they know how to use a gun and they don't have a history of murdering people with guns. We should have the right to go after whatever life we want. But do I want to be a heart surgeon? I don't. But let's say I wanted to be a heart surgeon. I should have every opportunity in this world to become one. Does that mean I get to just call myself one? I still have to learn how to do it, or I could harm someone's body in the process. So in order to not harm others, I need to get educated before I take on that role. But we should be able to do whatever we want. But some things in the world you need education to do.
Yeah, so to get
but
this...
you should have the right to educate yourself.
It. So to get this right, here's your actual argument back to you, okay? You should be able to do whatever you want as long as we tell you you can do it. You can do whatever you want as long as you have a license and you go through the proper authorized authorities to tell you now you can do what you want.
Right.
You believe that with licensing, medical licensing, private licensing, licensing for guns, licensing to drive an automobile, licensing to fly a plane.
Yes, and who determines, who does that, and who standardizes that and all that? The government. So she doesn't actually believe that you can just do whatever you want. She just thinks she's special, that she believes something different, but actually what she believes is just what everyone agrees with in the society she lives with. She lives in.
Licensing for everything. You probably believe that you should have licensing to own a home, because after all...
No, I don't, because owning a home isn't going to put me in jeopardy of killing other people. Doing open heart surgery when I have no knowledge on how to do it could make me kill someone. That's the difference.
Wait. Everything you do in life can have the potential of a negative ramification to harm somebody else. Everything.
And when I'm talking about harming,
Hang on. Let me finish my point. Everything.
You're taking a home away from a homeless person, so you're hurting them, so therefore you can't have one.
Thing you do in life has the potential to do this. If that is true, and you have to agree with me that that is true, what you're actually not saying to me is you should be able to do whatever you want as long as it doesn't hurt anybody else. You're saying you should be able to do anything you want as long as we collectively feel that your potential to hurt other people is mitigated. And so that actually requires rigorous government interference and rigorous not letting you do what you want.
It's not letting you do what you want, it's preparing you to do what you want. If you want to fly a plane, I think no matter if you're a woman, if you're black, if you're whatever age, as long as you pass the physical test that says, yeah, you have the eyesight and hearing abilities or whatever, and you're not going to jeopardize other people's lives on the plane. If
Quadruple amputee?
What was that?
Quadruple amputee?
I mean, They probably
Just
couldn't
checking.
fly a
I
plane.
just want to check.
It's like, but that's what I'm saying is like, it's just, this is like, it's so funny how you're trying to make this something like, no, like if anyone in the world wants to be a pilot or a heart surgeon, I believe they should have every opportunity to become one. Does that mean as a society we have no standards? We do have standards.
So we stop people from doing what they want?
Stop interrupting me. Shut up, dude. Stop interrupting me. So let's say.
Well, you can't go for hours either.
I'm not going for hours. It's been about a minute and a half.
Go.
Anyway, so like if there is some poor person of color who dropped out of school, didn't have the resources, like grew up in who knows, they grew up in a group home, like they don't have the same opportunities as someone who grew up in a wealthy family who's going to pay for their college education, let's say. Like I think that person, if they have a dream of being a pilot,
that person should be paid for by the rest of us so that they can have an opportunity to do it. Okay. Well, I disagree with that.
they should be able to work
That hurts me. So no thanks.
hard enough and be given the opportunity to learn to be a pilot. It doesn't mean that because they imagine they're a pilot, they get to be one. But if you're like, I want to be a pilot, I'm going to be like, I don't care where you come from, what you look like. Here's the resources to learn to study. And if you put your time into that and you
Where do those resources come from?
learn and study, then congratulations, you deserve to be one.
No,
that's
Yeah,
that.
okay, but so this, again, doesn't even begin
It's not stopping them from
to
being a
address
pilot.
my
It's
argument.
just teaching them to be one
Stop.
before they do it.
My turn, right? So, one more time. This is my actual argument. Try to address the argument I make, not the one that you wish I made, and then address that argument. The argument that I'm making is that is not do what you want as long as you're hurting nobody else. That is, you can do what you want as long as we license you to do it and we rigorously vet you to do it. And after we have rigorously licensed you and vetted you, then you can do it. And if you don't do it that way, you go to fucking jail. That is not do what you want as long as you're not hurting anybody else. That is sloganeering bullshit.
No, because
Bullshit
if
and
I
lies.
decided to just take 20 people and get on a plane and
STFU and try using logic. You can fly a plane without a license.
Right.
Right. So,
Without hurting
okay, so let
anybody.
me take this. I don't know if you have kids or not, but let's say you have 3 toddlers at home right now.
Mm-hmm.
And let's say a random man off the street who's never flown a plane in his life said to you, hey, I'm going to take your kids on my plane. I want to go for a joyride.
Mm-hmm.
Would you feel comfortable with that?
Okay, but that's an insane argument, right? That's crazy.
Or would you rather go on a flight with someone who you know?
Yeah, fuck no, I'm
learned?
not doing that.
Right, because you have standards. It's not that no one can be a pilot, but if you're
Am
going to
I
entrust
advocating you should be able to do whatever you want as long as you're not hurting anybody, or are you advocating that?
I am, and
okay,
I do
well
think,
then why are
I
you
think
giving
that
me an
person
internal
should be able
critique?
to be a pilot. I think
then
they just
why
need to
are
learn
you
how to be
giving
one.
me an internal critique about a position I don't even hold?
Because you're stating that by my logic, any
By
random
your
person
logic,
should be able to be a pilot.
by
and
your
that's not my
logic of
logic.
you can do whatever you want as long as you're not hurting anybody else is not even a standard you yourself believe. I just demonstrated it. No, you
I
believe
think
in
that
you believe in
person on this-
over-the-top rigorous licensing for fucking everything. What are you talking about?
I don't believe in rigorous licensing for owning a home. Like you just gave owning a home as an example. I don't think anyone
That's
needs
because-
to have
what
licensing
about-
to own a home.
okay, what about
like
owning-
to open someone's chest and
No,
do
you
surgery?
do.
You
Listen,
should be licensed.
By the way, you cut me off when I was making that argument. No, you do believe you need a license when you own a home. For instance, if you want to add on to your home, have a structure.
Yeah, I know about permitting. I
Yeah,
worked in real estate.
do you think we should have permitting for that?
I mean, Santa Barbara's permitting laws, I actually highly disagree with. It depends on that's a very
That's not my question.
county by city
Yeah,
basis.
that's not my question. Do you think that the government should be empowered to come in and tell you how you're going to be able to zone your own house if they consider any type of public danger, even if it's just a perception?
If they perceive that the structure you're building is going to cave in on itself and kill the people living in it, then sure. That's why you have to learn to be a
they're doing
construction
whatever
worker.
they want. They're doing whatever they want, and they're not
can't.
hurting anybody else.
But they are by building something they don't know how to build. That is
So wait a
harming
second,
people.
wait a second.
So,
So
they're going to
they're
learn
living
to
in their
build
own
it or
house?
hire someone who knows how, and then still. That's what I'm saying.
That's
if you want to
super
add on to
weird.
your house,
That's
you
super
can add
weird.
on to your house.
So you live
but
by
you just
yourself.
need to do it in a safe way.
So you live by yourself on a hill, right? And you build your own structure. The government comes in and says, nope, you got to have a permit for that because you might harm yourself. Great. But your argument is you should be able to do whatever the fuck you want as long as you're not hurting anybody else. Who cares if they're going to harm themselves?
No, I'm saying if they.
Freaking disaster. Man, trying to argue with these people is like arguing with a brick wall.
want to add on to the house, they can still add on to the house. They just literally need to do it in a safe way.
So they just need to
Liza
rigorously
talk
be vetted and licensed in order to do what
for
they
certain
want.
things in the world. Yeah, certain things in the world
You
are
absolutely
unsafe.
don't believe that people should be able to do whatever they want as long as they're not hurting anybody else.
I
Like
believe if you want to add on to your house, you can add on to your house. Just do it in a safe
single
way.
example that you give requires licensing, rules, regulations, and people interfering with your life before you can do the thing that you want.
Part of not
that
being a
doesn't hurt
caveman.
anybody else.
We live in a society.
opportunity.
That's why you can't
Right,
just walk
you
down
know
the
what?
street
I
and murder
agree.
people.
We live in a
have
society. That's why I
standards.
wouldn't make such a ridiculous argument as you can do whatever you want as long as you're not hurting anybody else, because that's sloganeering. That's not true.
The ideal. I think
That's
she's
taking
saying
it
it's
too
more
literal.
of the ideal, though, and not what.
No, it's not taking it too literal.
You're interrupting.
But it's okay.
I'm sorry, I was responding to her.
I just think that it's.
What does that mean? Stay safe. What does that mean?
Thank you for the raid. Stay safe. Welcome, guys. Go to twitch.tv/whatever. Drop us a follow and a Prime sub if you have one. If you have Amazon Prime, you can link it to your Twitch. It's a quick, free, easy way to support the show.
Tell Stay Safe, tell Matt. I hope he had a good stream.
Matt.
I hope he got a bunch of levels in World of Warcraft.
Matt, Brian hopes you. We all hope you had a good stream, and we hope you get levels in World of Warcraft.
Good
Yeah. Thanks. Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Keep going.
No, I just think that we're the bigger issue is that should we have free will or not? I mean, that's, you know what I mean? It depends on what you believe in that way, because I don't personally want the government involved, but that's the system we have already. So how do we work with what we have? You know what I'm saying? I don't agree. Like, I don't necessarily agree with the exact way of, I think you should be able to build something on your own property in the middle of nowhere and be able to make your own decisions. But it's confusing.
Truth be told, that kind of is what happens, because if a tree falls in the forest and no one's around to hear it, does it make a sound, right? If there's nobody to regulate you, you're not really regulated, even if on paper you're regulated, right? That's why places that are more remote tend to be less regulated, right?
Because not that I know the right answer, but because I don't know how to bridge this space, because it's about what do you believe as moral and not, like,
Right.
what's good and bad in your perspective. That's different for everybody. So how can you ever find a real solution? Which you're saying, which I hear, correct me if I'm wrong, what I hear you saying is go with the majority, but then what happens to the people that are not the majority?
I didn't give a position.
Okay, no, that's why I said correct me if
all
I'm
I was
wrong.
doing is
Yeah.
pointing out that often I hear sloganeering from people, like in this regard. People should be able to do whatever the hell they want as long as they're not hurting anybody else. But then when you test that, you find out they don't fucking believe that shit at all. They don't believe that they shouldn't be able to knock the gun out of their, kid's hand so that they don't unalive themselves. They don't believe that they shouldn't be able to smack the pills out of their daughter's hand so they can't. They don't believe for a second that they shouldn't be allowed to do that. The thing is when you take it from the conceptual to the practical, you realize, no, we really got to kind of interfere a lot in people's lives.
No, and that I totally
And we have to
agree.
do it all the time. And we have to do it for very good and specific reasons.
Yeah.
Have you ever read Atlas Shrugged?
Yeah, with Ayn Rand.
Yeah. Your thoughts?
My thoughts is that Ayn Rand was a giant cope fiend, right? She was coping the entire time that she was banging a guy who was 20-something years younger than her, because what she did was she took all the rich industrialists and she made them the heroes of the story, which is fucking insane, and then they came and saved society. So it's like the dumbest shit I ever heard in my life, but
Wow.
that's what I think of it. Yeah.
I'm trying to get to, and you may have gotten
Remember how the rich industrialists came in and saved a society from, nothing ever. Instead, they have micro-engineered and fucked it up every possible way that they can by essentially creating lobbying groups that go and commission the government to go after whatever their private interests are by fucking over all the rest of us. That's what rich industrialists usually do.
Okay. I mean, I personally think Ayn Rand is, a hero in autonomy.
Yeah, because you learned it in university. You just copy whatever your professor thinks. You don't think for yourself. I get it.
No.
Individualism.
Well, Atlas shrugged and your brain fell out, right? As the old libertarian saying goes.
So for the majority who don't agree with Christians or, your view on how this country should be, where are they left?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
So people who don't align themselves with Christian values or views with the freedom of religion in this country, where are they left being represented or supported by this country?
It's going to be the same exact place where anybody would be left if they refuse to follow the rigorous morals and the tailorings that society produces for them. The same place that you would be left in Japan if you weren't following their cultures, customs, and rituals. The same places that you would be left anywhere, right?
Is this not a melting pot of a country with different values?
This does not.
He does.
Actually, melting pot means that you need to conform to the American values.
This does not in any way.
He would do great with the CCP.
Okay, so anyway.
Would he not?
This does not in any way deter from this idea. We are a melting pot. Sure. Does this mean that you would import tons and tons and tons of people who thought that murder was okay?
No, because that's...
Right. So wait, so if they don't coincide with your values, it's okay for you to exclude them.
But in the end, she's bitter as gall, sharp as a double-edged sword. Her feet go to death, her steps lead to the grave. She gives no thought to the way of life. She walks aimlessly, but she does not know it.
And so this is the thing, is like, we think the same exact thing. We think it's perfectly acceptable that if the majority has these beliefs inside of a democracy, which is what liberals claim they love, that if we take that democracy over and impose our world like liberals are doing to us, there's no problem with that.
But no, because there's no law saying murder is okay.
What would that have to do with anything?
Because you said if, we can import a bunch of murderers into this country, they have the choice to murder and there's going to be consequences that you face.
No, you're missing the idea here. Let's assume that you could import the value of murderers to the point where they became a serious voting bloc. They could then, theoretically, impose their will via democracy by voting in people who then made murder legal, right?
Like Christians?
So, are you going to answer my question, or?
I'm just saying what you're saying.
The abortionists think the Christians are the murderers. Okay.
No.
So anyway,
no one
back
ever
to
said that.
Well, that's what you just said.
No, I didn't.
You said like Christians when I was referencing murderers.
No, you said forcing people to have these views, and I said like Christians in comparison.
Yeah, I don't know
when
why.
When you said, we're going to import murderers here because they'll have a bigger influence. I'm just trying to finish and get this thought out. So we're going to import murderers here so they can have a vast influence on the voting majority. Like Christians, right? Because Christians, you say, are the majority, and their law should rule
or liberals, or women who are the majority, or whoever. It doesn't matter.
It's not a perfect country for everybody, but it shouldn't be based off a single religion.
Why? Why not? Because you just don't like it, right?
No, it goes against everything this country was built off of, right?
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Who built the country?
Actually, that's not true. That's not true at all.
A bunch of white Christians?
With the freedom to practice religion.
Yeah.
And laws you're voting into...
First of all, the reason that there was an allowance of the practice of religion, you couldn't be a Catholic. You couldn't even come to this country if you were a Catholic. You couldn't even come. The reason is because Protestantism is divided. They did not ever think that this was going to be a non-Christian nation.
But
none of our founders ever thought that.
Christians demand a lot of respect from people they don't respect themselves.
I don't even know what that means. What does that mean?
If you don't believe in God, you're going to hell.
So?
That goes against spiritual people. Why is your religion the most important out of the hundreds out there?
Right.
Why should you be heard and no one else?
So I'll explain.
The most important.
Why
is
so I'm
the
going
way
to explain
to
so that you
do
understand.
Things. That's
right?
what I'm wondering.
Oh, I understand. I just
I don't think you do
understand why you think
because I'm granting your worldview. I'm saying let's assume Christianity is the worst. It's like the worst.
I never said it was the worst.
I know. Let us assuming. We're going to assume it. We know it's not true. We're just going to pretend for a second so that we can do this hypothetical that it is. So we pretend Christianity is the very worst religion ever. Mm-hmm. And you import into your atheist country a bunch of Christians who tell you, we want to definitely impose our Christian will on your atheist values. Okay?
Okay.
If you import them into your democracy in significant numbers, and then they begin to multiply, right, they could feasibly, inside of your democracy, begin to elect politicians who share their values, right? And if they share their values, they're going to implement the law based on the values they share with that now largest voting bloc, right?
Okay.
So if they do that, what actually would be the fundamental problem with that?
Christians don't run America. Are you
I need sound effects, man. That's the ba-dum. You know that sound effect? Oh my lord.
the majority? Sure. But I doubt all the Christians out there agree with the extreme right-wing views that you are portraying that they have. Because it's not all Christians, right? It's just like it's not all men. It's not all Christians. There are Christians out there who love thy neighbor, right? They love thy neighbor and they love you regardless of what you choose to do, and they're not going to force you. Are they going to sit there and because they love you, their way of loving you is teaching you about their God, right? But they're not going to force it on you.
Can I? Okay, I'm going to piggyback. So this whole thing started with why do men, from a viewer question, why do men die by, you know what? No, we're not allowed to say it, at a higher rate. And I've noticed in my adult life how men namely, and I have many close to me, who grew up in a very highly religious, some cult-like, some, deep Christianity, have some serious issues now, right? Because of the confines that they were forced to be in. And as grown adult men, they can't cope. They're still figuring it out and learning their way. So I'm trying to understand how you rationalize why you can't even, I get it, you have really rigid views, but why you can't see that. Secondly,
Well, let's do one at a time.
And also,
that's fine.
let's actually do just one.
Okay.
And let's have Andrew answer in about a minute because I want to move this on.
When you're talking about the rigidity in views, how have I been rigid? I've answered every question asked of me, dove into each worldview that you've given me, and shown where the flaws in them are. That is a lack of rigidity. That is me being completely fluid in ideology, so that I can internally critique from where you're coming from. What's really hilarious here, none of you have seemed, maybe her, right? She's a smart one because she's quiet, but I'm kidding, I'm joking. But anyway, none of you seem to be able to do the opposite for me. None of you seem to be able to put yourself here. Hang on.
Hang on.
Hold on.
Hang on. I'm almost done.
And actually, none of you even get to respond because he has final word. I have to move it on. It's been too long.
So anyway, none of you even seem to be able to put yourself in my shoes to hear what I'm saying, to even hear what I'm saying, because she responded to an argument I didn't even make twice. And then when I come over to you, when you're asking me this question, you say, I don't understand. It's these Christian men who grow up in these rigid households. Okay, I'm sorry, but Christian men, they're the stability of society. Least crime rate. Hang on.
No, I'm going to move it on. I have to move it on.
No, I'm going to demonstrate real quick, okay? As far as crimes go, as far as commission of crimes, as far as being in poverty, as far as all of these things, those Christian men from two-parent Christian households have the best outcomes in all of those regards. The ones that come from the single mom alternative households, not so great.
What about the priest?
Not doing so hot.
No. What about the priest?
Well, with women, you're so pro.
Now, by alternative, I didn't even mean LGBTQ. I'm just saying anything alternative to the two-parent household usually has.
He's super patriarchy. Your wife wouldn't even be able to write her book or live her expression.
So
in other countries, in Iran, these girls aren't even educated.
Women have been writing books for hundreds of years under the patriarchy.
It's okay.
Feminism had some of the most prolific writers pre-suffrage. Those were the best writers. The shit writers came after suffrage. So they were cruising around with this evil patriarchy who was oppressing them, writing all kinds of books, traveling the world. They really had it rough. They had it rough.
I do have to move things on. I have to move things on. So I need to do a couple things here. Robert Tanner. One sec, guys.
There was a great question, capitalism or communism.
We're doing the devil's job. Communist, socialist?
Can you stop? Can you stop? Okay.
No, he doesn't like capitalism. He doesn't like Ayn Rand capitalism.
So, Robert Tanner, thank you for the gift.
Please stop and shut up.
Gifted 50 memberships. Also, thank you for the 10.
Can't wait to get into that.
Time permitting, I need to get through my own notes here.
Sure.
So, Robert Tanner.
End alive rates by men is 3.85 times the rate of women per the CDC in the United States. White males is 68% of this per the CDC. If you need confirmation, here's the website. Putting some facts and perspectives for this panel. Also curious, does the panel think this is moral, good, or right? Why are men doing this in much higher rates?
By the way, thank you for this one. This came in already. We already read it. I just wanted to point out, anybody watching, maybe if you're new to the stream, we do also have it through Streamlabs, streamlabs.com/whatever. If it's through TTS, we're going to get to it a little quicker. We do prioritize Streamlabs messages. But Robert Tanner, thank you for your super chat, for the gifted memberships. Thank you for your patronage. Very much appreciate it. Thank you, Tanner. Let me just close those out. Hold on, let me get through the chats first. We have Valdiv. It comes down to morals and ethics. You do know most atheists hold Christian morals and ethics. Look at what has happened to Europe this past 8 years or so. Jordan Peterson articulates it better. Okay, thank you, Valdiv. Good to see you back in the chat. Thank you for the Streamlabs message. Appreciate it. And then we have to go to Twitch. If you pull that up really quick. Guys, go to twitch.tv/whatever. Stay safe. Thank you again for the raid. Guys, if you're still watching from that Stay Safe raid, just quickly drop us a follow, guys. We stream. We do these dating talks. Oh my God, almost 2,000 viewers just on Twitch. Woo. We do these streams every Sunday and Tuesday, and we've had Stay Safe on the show. We're going to have him back very soon, so stay safe. Shout out. Thank you for the raid. And then, guys, Prime sub is probably bugged. It's been 10 minutes since we last got Prime, so help. I think it's bugged or something. I don't know. Check it out. What's that? This would be a good little moment to actually plug debateuniversity.com.
Okay, let's move on because I'm not interested.
I don't think better is the right word. I'll be different and beautiful in a different way.
Oh my God, okay. Anyway, that's a different can of worms, and we need to end the video there. Buy my books like Hunter M, Adrian R, Tom M, Bobby, Dylan, Renaissance Press, Brian, Andrew, Alan, Armani, and Nicholas. Shout out to your most recent purchase of Strategist Guide to Seduction and Quotes to Live By. Hit the like, hit the sub, hit all the notifications. I think I already said it. My Patreon offers early access content. That's patreon.com/theheliosblog. And if you'd like coaching like Nicholas here, just message me at my email. That's theheliosblog@gmail.com. Thank you so much for listening, guys, especially if you listen to the end. I really do appreciate it. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time.